Hi, I'm Amanda of Inspiring Inkin. Welcome to my craft room. In today's video we're going to be making this card using the Sending Flowers dies. I think it looks a bit like graffiti art on a wall. We're going to be doing some watercolouring, so let's turn the camera around and get crafting. So I'm going to start out by showing you a few of the things that we're going to be using. This is the stamp set for the greeting and the inside of the card. Label Me Bold. I use this a lot. It's a brilliant, brilliant stamp set. I'm using this brick and mortar embossing folder. It's one of the new 3D folders, so you need the blue plate to go with it. And this is the effect that it gives you. It's amazing. It's like a really old brick wall. So you've got different amounts of depth and sort of crinkly edges there for the bricks. It's just really, really pretty. And the kind of style of card, for me, this is a bit like graffiti. So that's why I've put it on the brick wall. And then the star of the show is the Sending Flowers dies. Now there are 5 dies in the set. So there are these 2 which are label dies, and then these 2 which are flower dies, which cut out the flowers from this main piece. And the reason that I'm not turning it over at the moment is because I need to show you what you need to do with this first. So this is a 4 1/4 inch square piece of card. It's shimmery white card, really important because we're going to be putting water on this in a little while, and shimmery white card is the best for that. So when you die cut it, what I don't want you to do is pop all the little pieces out because it makes it much more difficult to watercolour it. So what I want you to do is just to pop it out, but leave all the little pieces in there. Okay, so now obviously you can see the die there, how it's cut, but you can see all the detail. So this semicircle here actually cuts out, and then all of these little pieces around the edge also cut out, and you can pop them up. But when you look at the whole image of the die, you're not going to get a piece that pops out in its entirety. So only parts of it pop out, and you'll see that better when it's all finished. But these flowers fit perfectly over the top of these flowers, so you can die cut them in patterned paper and other things. And then these little elements here, they all pop up as well. So that's really cool. So that's sort of the main components of the card. I am going to be watercolouring with 3 different colours. So I've got Bermuda Bay, Granny Apple Green and Melon Mambo. And I've actually got an aqua painter, a water pen, for each colour, just to make it easy. Because when you're watercolouring, you want to go quite quickly. So I've put a drop of re-inker for each one, and a little bit of water. And when you're watercolouring, you need lots of water. And I know it's a bit scary, watercolouring, but if you move quickly, you get a great effect. I think sometimes we go quite slow and it doesn't work as well. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in turn with the colours. I'm actually going to go from the bottom up. And so I'm going to do the Granny Apple Green, then the Melon Mambo, and then the Bermuda Bay. And like I said, go quickly. So I'm just running over the top, and you want to go right over to the edges. And you can go over it a couple of times if you want a bit more colour. But you want to work quickly so that the colours can blend into one another. So can you see how this is blending with the Granny Apple Green there? That's exactly what we want. And then we've got the Bermuda Bay. And we're just going to go over there. And again, I want the Bermuda Bay to kind of blend in with the Melon Mambo, so we get a bit of tonal colour there. So that is pretty much it for the watercolouring. What you do want to do is just go to the edges just to make sure that there is colour there. If you see anywhere that's kind of missed a spot, then you can go back over it. So there's a tiny bit there that's missed. And again, if you want it to be more vibrant, you can go over it a bit more as well. Okay, so I am going to put this to one side, and with the magic video, I'm going to get one that I made earlier, and then show you how we're going to finish off the card. So here is the one that I did a little while ago, and what we're going to do is just pop out all of the pieces. And just take your time with this. This is a really, really intricate die. If you've got a take your pick tool, that will help you as well. And we're just going to pop all those little bits out. And I just love the shading that you get, because what you'll find is where the colours have bled together. So look at that flower. You've got 3 colours there, which is really lovely. Okay, so let me move that out of the way. So now I'm hoping that you can see why I wanted you to leave the die all together, or the cardstock all in its entirety, because to try and watercolour these individually, you can do it, but it's not as easy as you would think it is. Now I can see where I've just gone over that with the colour, it's actually left a bit of a line, so I'm just going to try and blend that out a little bit and work on it so that there's not such a harsh line on there, and touch that a little bit up there. So you can go kind of back over it. Let me just get a bit of a darker bit there. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is take my scissors and I'm going to cut all the way around this image. So do you remember these little pieces here that pop out or pop up? I'm actually going to cut just to the inside of those to leave a tiny border. And I'm using my big scissors because I can get like a longer cut each time I go round, and it just means that it's not quite as wobbly. The line's not quite as wobbly as it would be. So let's just keep going. There we go. Really pleased with that. The way those colours have kind of all blended. It looks really cool. So I am just going to grab my take your pick tool and just pop these last few little bits out. Just bear with me a second. So each flower has actually got these little bits that you can pop out. I'm actually going to be popping rhinestones over the top of them. I'm just going to pop them out. And yeah, and that's all of the pieces. Good, so we've got a tiny bit of stamping to do, and then we can assemble the card. So what did I do with this stamp set? I'm going to get I've got little tiny hearts here. I'm going to use the Bermuda Bay ink. And I'm just going to put these little hearts all the way along the base of the inside of the card, and use the happy birthday. And although this is Whisper White, obviously this piece was done on shimmery white cardstock. So for the happy birthday greeting that I'm going to do, I'm going to put that on the shimmery white card as well. It's classed as card, but you can see it's slightly more vanilla, but not as vanilla as very vanilla cardstock. Does that make you confused? I always put shimmery white card with white card because, yeah, it's just not quite, there's not quite enough cream in it to be very vanilla. If that makes any sense. I'm not sure that it does. Right, let's get this card assembled. So that's the inside. Then I've got my beautiful brick embossed layer. Ooh, that seems a little bit wonky to me. Then we've got the greeting to go on and the flowers. Now, I'm going to stick this on fairly flat. So what I'm going to do is put some Tombow on my hand. Now, I do say this often, but Tombow is latex-based glue. If you have a latex allergy, you are not going to be wanting to do this. So find a different glue. But by putting it on my hand, I can dab this all over, and what it's going to do is it will just pick up glue here and there so that it will then stick to the card, as opposed to me trying to put blobs of glue on it. So I'm going to pop that down, and I don't mind if the flowers are sticking up a little bit, because that will give it a bit more dimension. Let's get the happy birthday. Where are these mini dimensionals? I think these sentiments were designed so that these mini dimensionals would perfectly go underneath them. That's so cute. So this is why I think this looks like graffiti. Now, oh, rhinestones. So I think it looks really nice like that, but everything looks a little bit better if you've got a rhinestone or two. A bit of sparkle always helps. So let's pop that in. And slightly bigger rhinestone with that on there, I think, and the smaller ones there. Don't know whether you can see, but I use the half size stamp cases to keep my rhinestones in. It just keeps them contained rather than having open packets everywhere. There we go. Okay, so there is the finished card. So it's the Sending Flowers dies. You do need to get a bit of a wriggle on. If you want these dies, they're only available till the end of March. That's March 2020. All of the products that you have seen today are available in my online store and you can shop there 24/7. If you scroll down, whether you're on YouTube or my blog, you'll see some links. Or you can pop over to my blog, www.inspiringinkin.com, and click on the shop button and you'll be able to shop there directly. Thank you so much for joining me today. Do subscribe both to YouTube and my blog, and I will be back soon with some more creative inspiration. Goodbye.